Right, now, when you talk about aviation in Africa and speak to the experts, they'll tell you the industry has been growing in leaps and bounds over the years, whether it's down to how many tourists come to this beautiful continent, whether it comes to how many Africans go for vacation outside the continent, or general business. Some experts will tell you that in East Africa, you talk about Kenya, Tanzania, and Rwanda when it comes to nations whose aviation has really grown. But that does not really leave Uganda out. It probably could if you travel to all these countries, specifically those three countries, and maybe take a simple example like how much traffic is through most of those airports. But that does not mean that Uganda's aviation has fully been abandoned. Maybe you really haven't been looking where most of this aviation and its development are taking place. Take an example. Revved has come to the Kampala Executive Aviation, where it's been taken very serious, from a flying school to having planes here for different reasons. So on the show tonight, we take a look at 3 of their planes, take one to the sky, and most importantly, speak to a Ugandan pilot.
On this edition of Revved Up,
All right, so that very big interaction now with Mr. Mugabe Claude, who is a pilot of Ugandan origin. He's not the only one, but the truth is there are not that many. Claude, first of all, thank you very much for ushering us into this beautiful piece of art. It's a real pleasure. You're a pilot, you're not that many. It must be a proud moment for you. How do you feel every day?
Every day I feel proud of myself. I feel good about myself. It's a good feeling being a pilot.
Yeah, you pilot at the Kampala Executive Aviation. But the big question has always been, everyone asks about people's journeys, where people started from to get this far. And I keep insisting, you're not that many pilots in the country. What was the push? How did this entire journey kick off for you?
Okay, actually my dad is a pilot. Yes. He's a chief flight instructor of Sorority Flying School. So I've always wanted to be a pilot since I was 9 years. 9 years, yeah. Went to, I got a chance to join Sorority Flying School. That was 2010. Training is pretty much not that easy, but you know, when you work hard, you have to keep working and working. Training, the flying bit of it is fun and interesting, but so, you know, there are challenges here and there. So 2 years, about 2.5 years, I got done with the training. And I was lucky that, you know, with the jobs and employment in Uganda, it's pretty much challenging, you know. But I was lucky that I got a job with Kampala Executive Aviation. That was in 2012, August, I remember. So I got a job, but I was still in school. But when I was done fully with school, I started working with the guys. You know how it is. You work, you want to work for free no matter what.
Yes, you just want to work.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I ended up somewhere in the middle of South Sudan, flying with the company, grew with the company, and yeah, till today I'm still with the company.
I want to take you back slightly to your beginning, because you talk about those 2.5 years at the very beginning. But then I ask you, how does it all start? Because look, Claude, I have no idea what pilots go through. But how does it start? You have planes, you have jets you start off with, and then you grow into others. What is the general process at the beginning?
Okay, it is basically you have to pass an interview. That was the process in Sorority Flying School, because I went and trained in Sorority Flying School. You do an interview. When you pass the interview, then you start the course. So you have to do both ground school, which is classwork, and flying. There's a level where we call it 10 hours check, where they keep eliminating those who don't get the grades, you know. So you keep, there's a license. We have the first license, which is a private pilot license, which you have to do both a ground test and a flight test. If you get done with that, then you have the first license. Then we have the commercial pilot license. The same procedure, ground school and flying at the same. If you get to do those two, then you get done. That's the CPL. That's the commercial pilot license. Then you do what we call an instrument rating. Then that can help you be able to get a job with any airline around. So, yeah, but it's too much work anyway.
Yeah, it's
you
too
know,
much work.
studying and flying, you have to really keep. People normally students stick to flying and forget the ground school. So when you pass the flying, then you fail the ground school, then you're going to spend more time in school. Parents should not get discouraged. You know, actually say, "Oh, it's expensive. There's no money." This is like an investment. Trust me, because if you guide your child, encourage them, tell them not to let. Most kids go out there and you let your parents down. So it's just encourage your kids. Just put them in school. You know, get cash. Yeah, give them a chance. And trust me, you never. I know. According to what I know is the airline is coming. The national carrier will be back. Uganda Airlines will be back. There will be jobs there for everyone.
Claude, thank you very much, man. And I'm also told that pilots earn quite a hefty salary.
Look at me, man.
Yeah, when the cameras are finally switched off, I'll get his number and then we shall talk about his incomes.
Car Care, brought to you by Toyota Uganda.
All right, so welcome to this week's Car Care. Now, we received an email and someone was asking us about dashboard lights. Those lights on your dashboard, what do they mean? Is there a problem with our cars? So we decided to come to Toyota Uganda as always and catch up with the training boss. That is Mr. Fitsum. Once again, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
All of us who drive cars, once in a while, we've seen a light appear on our dashboard. We don't know what those lights mean sometimes. How much trouble are we in and what lights are these?
Good question again. When you're driving, you want to know how the vehicle is doing, right? So those lights are feedback for the driver, to informing the driver if there is any problem or there is any malfunction in the vehicle. Different systems have warning lights on the dashboard, okay? And for example, to mention some, the engine has some warning lights or gauges on the dashboard. One of them is, you see that small
Box
drawing that looks like an engine?
Yes.
That is, what color was it? You remember? Okay, if you don't remember, no, it's not red, it is actually yellow.
Yellow.
Means warning. There is some malfunction in the engine that needs your attention. And then there is oil pressure warning light, telling you the oil pressure in the engine is very low. You might now ask, why red and why orange? Orange is pay attention, go to the dealer as soon as possible. Go to Toyota Uganda as soon as possible. Yes. But when it is red, you don't have enough oil pressure, which means you don't have enough lubrication. Okay? The engine can actually be damaged, so switch it off. Pretty the same like your warning lights on the highway or on the traffic lights. Red is stop. If you see a red light coming on, stop and get support from Toyota Uganda. But if it is yellow or amber, then you can drive to Toyota Uganda as soon as possible. And our experts here will be able to diagnose your vehicle. Okay? The other things like charging system, the battery that you see, the battery sign that you see on the dashboard, if that light is on, and it is red, if you remember, that means your charging system is not charging the battery. If you move on without charging the battery for a long time, you know what will happen. The engine will actually shut down because it needs some voltage to operate the engine components itself. So those lights are communicating to the driver or to the operator as to what is happening in the vehicle.
Fitsum, thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much. Yes.
The big question is, are there lights on your dashboard? Do you understand what those lights exactly mean? Do you realize that you need to pay lots and lots of more attention to those very lights? Because the car is speaking to you. The big question is, are you listening? Feel free to send us more of those emails and more of those reactions as well at Talk to Toyota. That is t2t@toyota.co.ug. The subject is revved up. Get your questions in. Fitsum will always have the answers.
Futuristic Vehicles, brought to you by Shell V-Power. Accurately described, as a luxury yacht on wheels, the Vision 6 Maybach Cabriolet, designed by Mercedes, is an epic vehicle that references both the past and the future. Less than a week ago, it made its debut in California at the famous Monterey Car Week and stunned the world with its elegance and decadence. Mercedes insists this car is all about aerodynamics, with its extremely long bonnet and multitude of lines that stretch all the way to the rear. The enormous grille is meant to evoke a pinstripe suit, presumably because that's the sort who'll be able to afford to drive it. Like many other brands, Mercedes' car of the future is completely electric, but it has a powerful little twist under its hood. The engine is surprisingly robust, with 750 base horsepower that allows it to reach 0 to 100 kilometers in less than 4 seconds. And it has an impressive range of over 500 kilometers. Additionally, a charge of just 5 minutes can give this vehicle enough juice to cover 100 kilometers, which gives it the leg up on other electric cars. Stepping into the Maybach 6 is like stepping into a sci-fi film with its pure white leather seats and blue fiber optics. The floor is made of open-pore wood with aluminium pinstripes running through it. The interior trim flows into the digital display at the front of the vehicle, but that is not the only high-tech feature. The seat leather monitors the vital signs of the person who is sitting in them and adjusts the temperature to suit their needs. It is also capable of beginning a massage when it senses that the inhabitant is stressed or in tension. Each car brand has their own vision of the future, and some of them have been quite outrageous. But the Mercedes Vision 6 Maybach Cabriolet has successfully intertwined some of the past into their vehicle, making it vintage and futuristic at the same time.
We're getting very busy with social media here at Revved Up. And of course, we're inviting you to, to join in, yes, on our social media throughout. Now, our Facebook page is Revved Up Uganda. Do remember, you now can win yourself lots and lots of presents through our Facebook page. All you have to do is right after the show, head down to our Facebook page. We put a link in there. Click on that link. It will take you to our official website, which is www.revvedup.ug. We put a very simple question about tonight's show. If you can get it right, then you stand a chance of winning yourself lots of presents from Shell. That includes fuel vouchers. So feel very free to head down to our Facebook page, Revved Up Uganda, right after the show and have a chance of winning yourself lots and lots of presents. back. We are still at the Kampala Executive Aviation as we still go through 3 different planes this very evening for you here on Revved. Now, the first one is the smallest, and that is a Cessna 172. That is pretty much all I know about this plane. But I'm still joined by our expert, a pilot as well, in Mugabe Claude. Mugabe, here we go. This is the smallest of the 3 we intend to show our viewers tonight. Hey, I have no idea. What does it do? Why is it even here?
Okay, now this Cessna 172.
Yeah.
It's one of the planes that we use here when we want to train people how to fly. Yeah. We also use it for charter, cargo. You know, it doesn't carry much, as small as you say, but we use it for charter. We take passengers as far as Kisoro, as far as Kotido, Arua. You know, it will go there. The endurance is not that much. Basically, I think 4 hours. Not so sure. Yeah. But its purpose is mainly training in Kampala Executive Aviation. And when it comes to the charter bit of it, it can carry as many as 4 packs on board. Four people. Yeah, that's the maximum.
Okay. So as an experienced pilot now, when you fly the big ones, then come back and see this one, you're like, child's play. Eh?
This is more. This has more game in it.
Yeah.
Like you enjoy this. You feel everything when you're flying this.
Because that's small and that basic. All right, let's move to a slightly bigger plane, and you can take us through that one. What I've done is know all 3 planes' names, but not know details. But that's because you're here. All right, so plane 2. One of the things I have really caught up with super fast on the Revved upset tonight is getting the names of the different planes. I might not have all the details of what each and every other plane does, but I have the names just because I have the expert who can always take us through all those details. So right behind us is the Cessna 208 Caravan. And this is the one you've been flying more often recently. Yes. So you probably have it fresher off your mind. And the big difference between this one and the smaller first one?
This one has a greater range than the small one. And this one here carries more load. Basically, we use this as charters and could carry about 11 passengers on board. That one was 4. This is 11. I can go into strips as small as 500 meters with this one, just like the other one. Yeah.
From a training perspective, from a studying perspective, how long do you take to move off from a smaller one to a big one in terms of time and in terms of experience?
In terms of time and experience depends, first of all, on the person itself. Yeah. That depends on the person. We look at the training process. Training process.
4 years of experience for you flying. One of the questions that I would really want to ask, and I'm sure most of the folks out there would want to ask, what's the farthest you've gone with, because you haven't flown the big passenger flights yet, but what's the farthest you've gone, for example, with the 208?
I have flown the 208 to Central African Republic. I've flown the 208 to Nigeria. I've flown the same plane to Mogadishu. Yes, that's and Kigali. Basically, yes. Congo in there.
Yeah. And of course, it's slightly more complicated than the first one, but is it the one you certainly enjoy more at the moment?
At the moment, we'll see. You'll see what I enjoy more.
There's one more. There's one more. All right. Like you said, plane 3 up next. All right, third plane is a Pilatus PC-12. Pilatus, did I pronounce that right?
Yep.
What does it even do?
The Pilatus over here is the baby of the company. Yes. This plane can fly as high as 30,000 feet. We use it both for charter, cargo flights, and medevac flights. You know, if a passenger has a problem, like let me say in Entebbe, they need to go to Nairobi for treatment, we use the Pilatus. This will take us 1 hour and roughly 5 minutes to Nairobi. And it's pressurized. We have a VIP seating where we do 4 chairs, we do 6 chairs. It can carry 9 passengers. Yeah, so
this is the more high end out of the 3. It's more of a passenger flight on its own.
Passenger flight. Another thing about it, on top of being pressurized, it's a very fast machine. I do 250 knots on this plane.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Okay, that's roughly about. Let me put it in the car thing of yours. It's about 400 or 500 kilometers per hour.
Ooh, 400 kilometers an hour. I mean, so what's the main difference between the Pilatus and, for example, the normal travel planes we use every day, Africa to Dubai, South Africa to Nigeria? Because the pilot always says 30,000 feet at some point, and you're saying it hits exactly the same.
The beauty about this machine is it will land on dirt strips, like a Jansi, you can say. It can land on short strips of about 800 meters. It can go as far as South Africa. You could go direct to South Africa with this plane.
This is the closest I've been to what many could call a private jet.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So let me go in and look at it even closer, because I think it's one of the more comfortable ones on the inside. And like I said, we haven't hit the skies yet. Are we ready?
Yeah.
To go up the skies?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you very much. Let's try and plan for that flight now. All right, so we've made a quick tactical change in the cockpit. Atta does join me as the pilot for the Caravan, and the big question would be, Atta, for you, before even we get this engine underway, how high can this go and how high are we going?
This is a Cessna Grand Caravan. The aircraft without oxygen in it, with passengers, we can go up effectively up to 10,000 feet, but the aircraft itself will go a lot higher than that, up to 25,000 feet. Today we're going to be flying at an altitude of about 6,000 feet above sea level, which around here is around about 2,000, 2,500 feet above ground level.
That's quite high, huh?
Pretty high.
Let's go.
Half a mile.
Let's see. All right, thank you very, very much, folks. Fresh from the skies to say thank you very much for joining us this evening here on Revved. Now, tonight, we've talked about aviation. We've gone as far as Africa, come to East Africa, and, of course, focused on Uganda. I want to thank, of course, our folks at the Kampala Executive Aviation for allowing us not just to come here and look at their planes, but also going to the skies. Now, just quickly remind you, go quickly to our Facebook page. Right now, we've put a link for you in there that is Revved Up Uganda. Click on that link. It takes you to our official website, which is www.revvedup.ug. We put questions in there for you. If you get them right, those very questions are about the short night, then you stand a chance of winning lots of presents from Shell, and that includes some fuel vouchers. So I hope you have enjoyed watching me enjoy the flight. My name is Andrew Kabura. This is Revved Up. Stay safe on those roads. Good night.
Next week on Revved Up.